Well, I am Adventures. I am Yankee, your host. It is it's like 11:30 at night Eastern time. Pretty warm night, and I just thought I would jump online and just tell a quick story because I gotta just was sitting here thinking, and a story come to mind, and I thought, I'd love to share that story online, and it's a native folklore story. It's short. It's not real long. I'm not going to keep you all up and out of bed and whatnot here in the middle of the night. Hey, what's happening, Clint and Jamin? Hi, guys. It is great to see you. I was sitting here. I'll be quiet a minute. And you hear the sounds. It's just, so peaceful and zen. But I figured I would stir up and all the critters around me and tell a story, and thought, why not share it online and just tell a short story. It's not a long story. Uh, don't know why exactly it come to mind the way it did. So maybe it'll actually be a helpful story to somebody watching, which would be cool too. Um, like most native folklore stories, they may not be R-rated. They're kind of geared at a what I would call a G rating, without a doubt. Uh, but these are educational stories that were told uh, by the elders to the village as people were, living and learning. These type of stories were your education, and they were your schooling. Um, I'll point out about native stories before I even get into it is for you know for an ancient tribe. Like I said, it was literally the schooling. As a young native, you would not only be expected to sit and listen to the stories like a respectable young man or woman. You would also be expected to answer questions about the story. You would be expected to know these stories and to be able to tell them yourself. So, it was truly the education system, and and a lot of value come from the stories. But anyway, I've been rambling. We're almost in 3 minutes already, and I didn't even start telling the story. I didn't even tell you the title of the story, which, oh, we got road traffic. I didn't even tell you the title of the story, which is the Grasshopper Wars. The Grasshopper Wars. I don't know if any of you ever heard the story about the Great Grasshopper War. Incredibly bloody story. But have any of you heard it? I'd sure like to know if anyone has. Uh, my background is Cherokee. Awesome. A lot of there's so many differences, and I know I'm going to get into the story, but I like to point out when other tribe names and things are mentioned. There are there were so many different uh, viewpoints of life here in America before Christianity was brought over, and religious ceremonies, the way people would pray, and maybe even in dance or in song was different all the way across this land. That even though they were all seen as Native Americans, there were so many different cultures, and to know one Native tribe is definitely not to know them all. But just a point that I wanted to point out, and then we're gonna get into this story. Chilling on the porch, awesome. Who has Lee Hill has heard the Grasshopper War? Was that a yes I have to that question? Drop that like. Thank you guys. I always appreciate that. Angela's message was restricted. Why? Did you restrict it yourself? I didn't even think I have. I don't know. Hey, Paranormal Pursuits. Awesome to see you guys in the room. All right. Awesome. So, all right, guys. I'm already almost 5 minutes in. Gave no value to this stream at all yet, but I do want to tell the story. it may be too lightweight of a story or too maybe childlike for some of you, but I always enjoyed these native folklores, and I love looking at them as in trying to find the lesson that was trying to be taught in this type of story. So anyway, let me go ahead and tell you guys the story of the Grasshopper War. Now, this takes place a long, long time ago, long before there was any type of incursion in this country. And the setting takes place along a river. Now, there was two native tribes that lived along this river, and the villages were on opposite sides of the river. And the villages being on opposite sides of the river meant that really they didn't interact that much because the river was always up really high, and it wasn't easy to cross in the area that they were located. So the tribes really didn't intermix a whole lot with each other. However, one particular season, there was a major drought. And in this major drought, the river really succeeded, and it was really easy to walk across the river. Well, one day, village kids from the one tribe on one side of the river was out in the field playing. Now, they were near the river bank, and the children from the other tribe seen the kids playing and having fun. And since the river was able to be crossed at this point, they went ahead and they crossed the river and began to play with the other children. So there was a great game going on there in the field. Well, before long, one of the children had found a grasshopper. Now, as the story goes, the grasshopper was pretty big. It may have been the biggest one anyone's ever seen at that point in time. However, when he discovered the grasshopper and he proclaimed it as being the biggest grasshopper ever found, one of the children from the other tribe across the river kind of, felt maybe jealous of the situation. And he right away, he claimed that that wasn't the biggest grasshopper, that he has seen bigger on his side of the river, much, much bigger. And before long, this erupted into an argument. And the one child took and he slapped that grasshopper and killed it in the other one's hand. And a fight broke out. The boys and girls that were all there, they all began fighting with each other. And before long, there were bangs and bruises on both sides. And the evening started to come on, and the children, they ended up going back to their villages. But when they got home, they were dirty. They were bruised. Some of them were bleeding, and right away, all the mothers of the village, they wanted to know right away what went on, what happened. And the children told them that, we were attacked. We were attacked by these kids in this other tribe. We were down playing in the field, and an argument broke out, and they attacked us and they beat us. And all the mothers, they took up in a frenzy, boy. You don't mess with a mom's kid. And they took off to the low part of the river to encounter the mothers of these children. And they did. And before long, whoo-wee, another battle broke out. And it was mom on mom, and there was all kinds of smackdown going on. And there was injuries that were taking place. Well, before long, the fight broke up, and the women kind of went back their separate ways to their villages. And about this time, the men had come home from battle, or from hunting. I'm sorry. The men have come home from a hunting trip at each village, and they seen their children all scuffed and beat up, and they seen their women all scuffed and beat up, and they wanted to know what in the world went on here while we were gone. And kind of on both sides, they proclaimed the same thing, that, the kids and the women of this village, they come over with a big argument, and boom, they beat us. They attacked us, and the men were mad. Now, both men groups from each village had met up at the river, and the battle began. And now we weren't even playing with just fist and pushing anymore. Now we were using weapons, and we were in full-on battle. Now, this battle didn't end easy. This battle went on for generations. and it fought and it fought. These two tribes, if they seen each other, it was on from the get-go. One day, because of all the lives that were being lost, now I'm not kidding, guys, this war was full on nasty. One day, the elders from these tribes decided that something has to be done. There has to be something done. All their young men were dying at the calls of these battles, and so they set out. They set out to find a mediator, and they sought out a Lenape chief who was able to come to the villages and to mediate the problem. And he called forth the elders from each village to meet in a neutral position, and they all began to speak and talk. Well, now the legend says that the elder had to sit and speak with these tribes for several days, and they smoked plenty of tobacco, and they had lots to talk about. But eventually, after several days of mediation, the war was ceased, and the war had ended. And that was actually the end of the war. The mediation took place, and both sides come to an agreement, and no more lives were lost from that war. But now, as the Lenape elder, the chieftain that they sought out to mediate, as he was leaving to head back home to his land, he was stopped by one of the young Indian braves who asked, in this mediation, did you ever find out the reason, this war started? And like we said, this was generations later, and the Lenape chief replied, who knows how these things start, And that is the conclusion, guys. I know it's kind of maybe be a weird little type of conclusion to the story. But that is the conclusion of the story of the Grasshopper War. And I'm curious if anyone actually was able to hang in there and listen to me ramble on with this little story. If you see a lesson that was that was valuable to be taught in this type of story, that if this story was, being used as an educational tool, can you see an education in it? And definitely would love to hear anyone's opinion of what you would take home from this story if you were growing up and this was one of the stories you were told about your heritage in your life. Because the kids arguing over the size of a grasshopper, pick your battles. Correct. Without a doubt. And I definitely see that lesson being learned. And I see a lesson of another lesson I see in that is to take a step back before you get into a battle and think about what the battle's about before you even get involved, and see if it's even a worthy thing to be battling over, because the simplest of arguments can literally turn into a hate pact to where it seems to be something that can never be fixed. So taking a moment and to think about what we're doing and to think about our actions before we act can very simply be the difference between a battle and a disagreement that just ends at being nothing more than a disagreement. All right, yeah, I'm going to say a quick hello. I see we got all kinds of people in the room. Guys, you guys are all so awesome. I just wanted to come on here and kind of ramble out a story. I was sitting out here and it just, the story come to mind, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to jump on live. I'm going to tell the story. And I wasn't even really expecting if I was going to get much of a crowd in here, but let me roll up here. I know I did greet Jamin and Clint right in the beginning, but Angela came in, Lee Hill came in, Gilbert Rod came in, Lee Hill, Life on the Trail. Welcome to you, my friend, Lee Hill, Clint Moore, Angela, Gilbert Rod, Paranormal Pursuit, Lee Hill, Paranormal, Just don't want to miss anybody, guys. I so appreciate y'all. M and the gang. It's always great to have you here. Uh, ATJH Travels, welcome, my friend. Carolina, Chris. Knocked in, ready, bedtime story, gotta turn the lights off. Oh, there you go, Chris. It's great to see you, though, my friend. Welcome to the chat, without a doubt. Jefferson, welcome, my friend. Cabin Life, welcome. Cabin Life, Jeff, I think, did I get Pauline Newman, welcome. Budget Outdoors, like, and I think I called up, and I think I did it. Boom, we got it. Thank all of you guys for taking time out of your day and to come by and listen to me ramble. I always love the melody to that song that Kevin Life and Marines. Yes, they create all their own music over there too. It's they do an awesome job. They really do. Awesome channels in here today. They're definitely. I wasn't really, I was thinking Sunday night, thinking most people probably were going to be in bed and whatnot. When I turned on the stream originally, I just thought, well, I'm just going to tell the story. It'll probably take about 5 minutes to tell it, and then I was just going to go, kind of just leave it as a video upload. But I am so honored that there were so many of you that wanted to come in and even hang out for the whole story. I know. Sometimes, we live in a day and age where we use all these special effects, and our movie stories are so graphic. And I know when I tell a story like that, it's so lightweight compared to what we're used to getting in the world. So, hey, Carolina Chris, thank you, my friend. It was, like I said, it's an honor to have you here. Off to the next live. Who's live next, Angela? Do you know? Is it you got? Is there somebody in the community going live next or live right now? JNC Fishing Channel, welcome, my friend. Yeah, it's a hot night, guys. It's just it's one of them muggy nights that you kind of you don't want to sleep real well. Or oh, you just wait and hunt for the live shows? That's awesome. That is awesome. There's a lot of live shows anymore on YouTube. There's like somebody live all the time anymore. That is true, Angela, and our imaginations are the best special effects. At least mine are, man. I love being able to use my imagination. The best kind of stories, I think. Well, awesome, Jefferson. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really do enjoy sharing those stories. Like I said, I never know if they're too lightweight. I know I have told them a couple stories in the past and on a live show, and I've had people say, "Well, that's a kid's story," and maybe in a way it is. But I think it's a learning story that even if you're not a kid, you can still see a lesson in the story. Hey, and maybe even some of us as adults can still learn from the simple stories. Always getting ready to go to bed and sleep. That's okay, Em. I so appreciate you stopping in. That is awesome. That is awesome. I was really planning on doing it really quick and short, so everybody could just watch it video format. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to keep nobody out of bed. I'm up because it's hot. It's just hot. It's one of those hot, muggy nights. It's important to pass them along. Well, thank you, Em. Again, thank you. Yeah, I think you missed the story. It's a fairly short one. You can catch it. It's like takes up maybe it took me 7 minutes to tell the story. I don't know if it even took that long, but definitely jump back and catch the replay if you'd like to hear a simple story and something nothing too hardcore or graphic, but good lesson to learn. Awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I love I love sharing the stories, like I said, and it makes it a lot of fun. Stream tomorrow. Okay, Pauline, thank you for coming. It's always an honor to see you. Awesome. Thank you, Em. I love the way my monitors work and help me out. That is just incredible. Joy, welcome to the room. I don't think I said hello to you. Song, stories, cooking, nature walks. Yeah, more on the way. You gotta love it. That's right. Oh, we can do some poems too, no doubt. You got it. You got it there, Gilbert. We get a little bit of everything in here, without a doubt. Guys, I'm not going to hold you all up very long. I so appreciate you took time out of your day and sat here with me and listened to my story. And I believe I'll pop on and give some more of these here in the future. Maureen, I think the message is definitely lost on me. It's from a story or a song. There you go. That's right, Em. I got a theory on that, but I don't know if it's really the right topic because it kind of touches religion. So maybe I won't put my foot in my mouth tonight. Well, awesome, JC Fishing, you are awesome. Hey, Bam, it is great to see you. If you want to go back, catch the replay. Uh, skip the first 4 minutes of the video, and then I tell a story, and it's not a very long story. I think it'll take about 7 minutes of your time. Thank you, J Dad, brother. I'd appreciate you so much, man. And Jefferson, thank you. River to do some catfishing if you can't. Hey, there you go. That ain't no doubt. I'm so glad I made it tonight. Good night, super late for me. I know, Em. Thank you so much. You're awesome. I thank you so much for coming and staying. I'm gonna go ahead and actually hang for. And none of yous are obligated. I'm gonna hang for 7 more minutes, so I stop on a 30-minute mark. But again, guys, I so appreciate it. If you're new coming in the room and you didn't get a chance to hear the story and you'd like to hear it, I think you could skip like the first 4 minutes of this video, and then I tell about a 7-minute story. Fun story to tell. Drop that like. Awesome, J Dad. We appreciate it. Without a doubt. Comac, welcome, my friend. Emma, welcome. You got that is great, man. Jelly Duck, great to see you too, my friend. You guys are all incredible. If you guys really do, I mean, if these type of stories, and if anybody's watching this in a replay and they would like to say, let me know in the comments down below if these type of stories are really something you enjoy hearing. I could probably easily make a segment of doing a lot more of them. I know quite a few, and again, I love telling them. Awesome, Lee. Thank you. Again, a lot of these stories we may have heard, I I think maybe even some of us had heard them and not realized that they had a native origin. And that's the other thing I like to share, and let people see the type of lessons that they taught here, maybe to help you also understand the type of people that were encountered here. Good night. Life befell. Thank you so much for coming. Lee Hill, I love them coming every Sunday night. That sounds awesome. I'll definitely think about doing that and just creating a segment for that. I do have a few more I'd like to tell. There's some Shingabis stories I'd love to tell. Uh, awesome. All right, guys. We are at 25-minute mark. Again, nobody please feel obligated to hang. I just want to, for my own OCD purposes, to end at 30-minute mark. So, Clint, thank you for coming tonight, brother. It is always great to see you. Uh, Everybody, hey, if you are on the East Coast and it is dark outside right now, right? All you got to do is go outdoors, look toward the south. That bright red dot in the sky is Mars. And you'll actually be able to say you just looked at a whole nother planet just by going, just step out there and you can't miss it, y'all. I got the flap open here on the tent, so I'm looking through the screen, and I'm telling you, y'all cannot miss it. It is there. I don't know if you can see it. I wonder if you can see it on camera. I don't know. Probably not with my light. Yeah, that's Mars, you all. You see that? That dot? That is Mars. Now, I just took you guys to Mars on this live stream. How many live streams show you Mars? Come on now. Oh, mercy. Now you got to admit now this YouTube stuff can get you around. Oh, it's funny. That's awesome, Lee. Well, see now here you go. You can remember that this one here got you a first hand look at Mars. We are not alone. Ah, I love it. But it is actually really visible. I was in town last night under the city lights, and you could still see Mars. So I'd say I almost feel confident enough to say anywhere you are, as long as you can see that southern sky, you'll see the planet Mars if you go out and take a look. To Mars and back. Awesome. Each and every one of you have a great night. I am 2 minutes before I'm going to drop out of here. Again, I do appreciate the turnout here tonight. That was incredible. I wasn't expecting it. And yeah, we had Mars right here on the screen, man. Did you miss that too? You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to do the whole replay, man. You're gonna have to start and get the story in the beginning, and then you got to hang on because we take you to Mars, and it was a wild night, crazy night. I had a tomato. Good night, everyone. Good night, Pam. Good night to everybody here in the room. Again, like I said, I am 1 minute 30 seconds from dropping out of the stream. Dun dun dun. Good night. Just adding tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Thank you all for coming, each and every one of you. And I am 1 minute from dropping out of the stream. Guys, I thank each and every one of you for hanging in here. I so appreciate the thumbs up on the stories. That also, that was great. That I appreciate that as well. I love the fact that y'all enjoyed the story and that you hung with me and listened to me tell it. That was just awesome. I am now down to a 30-minute mark to where I am going to. Did you just see Mars, Emma? Awesome. It's out there, guys. Go outside, look. If it's dark, look at the south. You'll see Mars. It's awesome. It's a beautiful sight. And I'm so proud that you went out there and looked. Thank you, Emma, for looking. It is awesome. And it looks really cool, don't it? It looks really cool. All right, guys. Until our trails meet again, I hope all your adventures are awesome. Winishita for watching. That is, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And Little Beach Canal, which is until our trails meet again. Much love, everybody. Good night.